Welcome to After Hours with the Crew. Pleased to be joined by Arjun Atwal. A big game for you this afternoon, Arjun, the 5-2 victory over the Drumheller Dragons. 3 points for yourself, and that must have felt good after some opportunities last night and just nothing going in.
Yeah.
You guys have finished first in the North Division, and in your tenure, it's been fifth place, fifth place, fifth place. Has the approach been a little bit different in terms of preparing for this playoffs, knowing that you're no longer the underdog? You're now kind of expected to go far here in the Interpipeline Cup. What's different this year for you from a planning standpoint?
Johnny Manziel, when he takes the field for the Montreal Alouettes, in Game 1, will throw for 350-plus yards. And at the end of the Canadian Football League season, he will have a top 5 performance in terms of passing touchdowns. Be released. She was the only person in the vehicle at the time of the crash. Based on 2017 statistics for the Crime Severity Index, North Battleford is atop the list for communities over a population of 10,000 in Canada. Matthew Churchill has more on what that means for the city. I mean, it's supposed to be fun, and it's all about the publicity and everything like that. But the point that I'm going to make, Josh, is nobody ever wins the championship and says, yes, this is going to be up for the ESPY Sports Team of the Year. That doesn't happen because stuff like this it's kind of insignificant.
It's completely.
Not only is it a 7 p.m. game followed by the afternoon start, but then you've got a North Division opponent one night, a South the next. Is there any added preparation you guys have to do for that?
Anybody in the league is going to be able to step in here and do it like we haven't seen before. He's in the same conversation as Doug Flutie and Warren Moon, and those are 2 all-timers in pro football. Forget the CFL. So if he's able to transition to the Canadian game like that, and he's had some time on the practice field, he's had some time to acclimate to things, I don't see why he couldn't. If December 15th wasn't already marked on your calendar, now is the time to do it. Yes, the Crusaders will be taking on the Bonnyville Pontiacs in Vermilion, Alberta, the third-party game between the top 2.
In many other countries around the world, renting is actually quite common. It doesn't come with these stigmas that it seems to in North America. Now, culturally, there seems to be a big gap between the expectations for millennials to be homeowners and how affordable that actually is for them. And that's sending many of them away from the housing market and back to work. After FC Edmonton folded at the end of the 2017 season, there was some talk around the city that they might be making a push towards the Canadian Premier League, which starts up this spring. Now, if they're going to do that, this Clark Stadium dispute is what they hope is the last thing that stands in front of them, making one last kick at saving their franchise. Canada's most rider-friendly community will be awarded $30,000, which Mayor Albers says he plans on using for tourism to bring more riders to Lloyd. And he also has a message for the mayor of Drumheller. The Western Hockey League pays for 1 year of post-secondary education for every year that a player spent in the league. And after 5 years spent with the Medicine Hat Tigers, that's a big part of the reason Ty Stanton decided to come home to Edmonton. Thanks, guys. The first International Women's Day took place in 1911, and after more than a century of work, the movement is still ongoing. Celebrations like the one held here at City Hall yesterday have gone on all week long, encouraging positive change for women across our city. Another public hearing similar to this one will be held in April, and that will likely be the last opportunity for public input on the project.
Brenden, are there any specific areas of concern voiced by the residents?
Yeah, the intersection at 149th Street and Stony Plain Road seems to be the one people are most concerned about. Now, the city has a couple plans outlined. Number one, they could divert traffic underneath the train and keep the train going on Stony Plain Road, or they could build an elevation so that the train could ride above the street. But both of those have been deemed to be really costly and very disruptive to the existing infrastructure.
All right, Brenden, and when can people expect a decision to be made on these projects?
Well, the city's going to take some time to consider the comments that were made, both at this meeting and at the next one. But they do have a timeline in which they want to get this all taken care of by, and they want to get construction plans sorted out in the summer. So that likely means at that next meeting, some decisions are going to have to be made.